Hi, let's explore a use case of rfpOS in this video together. James receives a formal RFP via a procurement portal. James immediately gets to work putting together the response. He navigates to rfpOS, names the response AGL Rubik, uploads the customer requirement documents, and selects one or more industries. This tailors the responses given by the AI. He shares the project with the necessary team members who will help complete the proposal and goes ahead with selecting the RFP RFI briefing because he wants a summary to understand the RFP more deeply before proceeding, and continues. If James was working on an existing response, he could navigate to the top right and see his ongoing and past responses to select. In that case, he can preview the document by selecting the I button in the document section. He clicks on next to generate briefing. He then reads the summary, scope, timeline, and criteria. He also notes he can add a bespoke section if needed. The briefing is specific to the uploaded documents. He can add custom sections. He has added 3 new sections: customer benefits, risks, and requirements. And when he creates his next project, those sections will appear by default. It has the ability to shorten the briefing too. He runs through the bid qualification checklist just to get some input as to whether this is an opportunity worth pursuing, noting he does not take this as a confirmation to proceed or not to. James then queries the RFP RFI. He wants to know if there are any requirements around Active Directory integration. He can see that there is a requirement for Active Directory integration mentioned in the RFP document. He shares the briefing summary with the relevant stakeholders who are to help him in the response generation. The relevant team members will receive an email for notifying them of the shared briefing. He also downloads the briefing to share with other stakeholders who are not accessing the platform. James and the team can then proceed with generating the responses. He selects Generate Response at the bottom of the briefing page. James sees on the left side of the page a content summary with all the documents which have been uploaded. All Word documents are converted into PDFs in rfpOS. The questions would be detailing what is included in the response document. James first checks the different documents which have been uploaded and then spends a few minutes going through all the sections and questions which have been included to note if all the questions have been captured and can see the source of the question to validate the questions. While rfpOS effectively captures most of the questions, in case of certain complex documents, he can use the refetch questions option before generating answers. Once he's satisfied that all the questions have been correctly identified using the numbering and the citations feature, he adds an extra question to clarify one of the requirements in the RFP. He notes any sections which were manually added or edited by him lose the citations feature. He then navigates to the required document and auto-generates a response for the first question. James then reads the response, notes what sources the tool has used to generate the response and the confidence rating. It's in a good state, but he wants to add some specific points around IT services. He searches the knowledge base and adds guidance, then regenerates the response. The responses generated out of rfpOS have been tailored to reflect suitable wording and phrases for a professional response. James can also index the response to improve content discoverability for future RFPs. With this section in a good spot, he moves on to automation. He assigns the automation section to another user, as this is their specialty field and they should be inputting content here. James can see if the assigned user has done their part by selecting the track feature. James can use the bulk generate feature to generate responses in this sheet to get responses for all questions in the current proposal. The generation of answers happens in the background, and James receives an email once it's complete. Alternatively, he could use the build a response feature. With the RFPOS agent, he can choose to get responses to specific questions or any topic for the RFP. For example, he asks about all the IT services we provide. The agent, having pre-context of the RFP, will refer to the knowledge base to provide an answer, or users can upload files to the agent to choose answers from it. The RFP agent can work both in rapid response mode for quick answers or deep research mode to give in-depth information. Once responses are generated for a file, James can generate an executive summary of the file and can add guidance to refine it. James then downloads the response, can share it, and has completed his first response draft in an efficient workflow using RFPOS. If you have shared bids, please make sure you refresh the page, as Orbit Shift does not reflect real-time edits. Orbit Shift captures auto-generated histories for version control. You can assign certain questions to relevant folks, and it would be reflected against them. To download, James can choose between our templates in Word format or export responses in Excel. James also notes that if this were an SOW document, he could use a formal template to structure the document. If external parties are working on the tender, you will need to download the generated content and share it as per the bid processes. Thank you.